At the time of the detonation, this was the location of Central Junior High School, the only school in the immediate blast zone. While other nearby buildings had been completely destroyed, the junior high school's initial outward appearance made it seem as though it had weathered the explosion relatively well. Even though it had windows blown out on all sides, the school building looked to be intact. Upon closer examination, however, it was discovered that the concussion from the blast had so seriously damaged the interior of the school and its roof that it was deemed structurally unsound and would have to be torn down. Many other buildings in the Roseburg School District had suffered as a result of the blast, the worst being the senior high school gym, which suffered severe truss damage. Most of the schools reported broken windows, and most of the windows were on the campus of the senior high school, located across the river from the explosion. The mere presence of the junior high school downtown had created a lot of what-ifs in the wake of the blast. What if the explosives truck had blown up during the daytime? Worse yet, what if school had been in session? Luckily, it was summertime and families were only beginning to think about the upcoming school year. Casualties were high, but certainly the outcome could have been far worse. Under normal circumstances, the injured would fall under the care of the two hospitals serving Roseburg, Douglas Community and Mercy, but these were not normal circumstances. Mercy Hospital was located just across the river from the epicenter, and the building suffered damage from the shockwave. The operating rooms and X-ray department had been heavily damaged and were unusable. As a result, most of the casualties from the explosion had to be handled by Douglas Community Hospital. Douglas Community had just two operating rooms, one for major operations and the other for minor procedures. At that time, there were no full-time emergency room physicians. Instead, about a dozen doctors shared emergency room duty. Since Mercy Hospital's capacity had been seriously reduced, Douglas Community found itself overloaded and quickly set up a triage area to determine which of the injured would require immediate care and which patients could wait.
There was a lot of commotion there, and of course I think they were people all over me. There was people running all over the hospital because the blast broke some windows inside the hospital, not only just outside, but inside the hospital.
In addition, a minor surgery room was created in the pediatrics ward just down from the OR to handle the overflow. In 1959, most of the doctors in Roseburg worked for one hospital or the other. Very few doctors treated patients at both hospitals. That night, however, doctors worked in a spirit of cooperation to treat casualties of the blast. Some Mercy doctors set foot in Douglas Community Hospital for the first time in the early morning hours that Friday to help their fellow physicians. Doctors and nurses who had worked during the day returned that night to lend assistance. Both Mercy and the local Veterans Hospital sent supplies to Douglas to replenish those that had been used up overnight. In addition, as area residents became aware of the explosion and its deadly consequences, they poured into the hospital to give blood, knowing that there would be a tremendous need for plasma. Despite the tragic circumstances, the citizens of Roseburg answered the rally call to aid their community.